There were so many fun quotes in this book that I just went kind of cuckoo with dog-earing it, yellow highlighters, pens. So I'm going to just start the show off with an excerpt from the book on page 39 at the end of chapter 6. I'm just going to read it. I know I read the intro and y'all are like, Kerry, quit reading. But I'm going to read this just to get it started. This is Cole's words that he wrote on page 39 at the end of chapter 6. I wanted to find a way to tell men that if they want to be better in their lives, they have to choose it. They have to ask for the ball. They have to seek out the hard and embrace the struggle. They have to understand that everything is a test and that these tests are not open book. They can choose comfort for their lives, but it will make them soft and eager for a shortcut, which will eventually cause them to dig out masks out of the closets. In the end, I want to assure men that if they can truly man up and choose themselves, their being, their business, their body, their family, then they'll be able to design their own lives rather than having someone else or something else design it for them. The way I've found to tell as many men as possible and have them not only hear what I'm saying, but also embrace what I'm saying is through the school of man. There it is, right there, in a nutshell. So the book's written in 3 parts. Part 1's your history.
Mm-hmm.
Part 2, starting the school of man. And part 3 is life, love, and legacy. So let's start with part 1. You are open about your weaknesses and claim owning your weaknesses and working on them is a strength, though often the opposite is thought to be true.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us your story and how that revelation came to be.
So, the common narrative is find your strength. Right, there's a great book out there called Strength Finders, and go all in on your strengths. And I do believe in that mentality, that strategy. However, when you're an alpha like me, and when you're on the unhealthy side, because all of us as men who are looking to achieve, to accomplish, to leave the world a better place, to make memories with our family, we're searching for one thing. It's a very common theme. It's something that blood has been shed over for thousands and thousands of years. It's freedom, right? So it's freedom and liberation. And it was funny that a couple weeks ago we held an event here. Men and their families came in from across the country, and it's called Rebirth. It was Rebirth 2.0. One of the men that were there. He was incarcerated for 9 years in prison, right? And the room is full. 100+ men, etc. And it's a very intimidating environment. And you could tell that he was trying to pull himself away, and or he was struggling to come to grips with, like, how do I measure up? Because that's what we've been taught. We've been taught as men to measure ourselves on 3 things since we were kids: athletics, the woman we chase, and power, aka money. And if you can check all 3 boxes, society tells you you're doing really good things as a man. But the facts are, and I'm going back to this story with Cody, that after we got finished in the first morning and he felt somewhat intimidated, I told him flat out, I said, we've got over 100 men here that have imprisoned themselves. They don't have to be behind bars. They don't have to be behind a wall. They walk around hiding in plain sight. I've been that man. Yeah, and you've got to meet a man where he is in his life. Like,
yes, and it could be that.
It could, and we have different levels of Psalm. And we have our 1% Man program, which is for our married businessmen that are looking to scale their business in 10x ways, but looking to have it all and do it the right way, right? To where you might have a man that has to completely reboot everything, right? So that's the power of Psalm, is that we are meeting men where they are in their lives. And the key is, do you want to be a better man by focusing on the things that matter most? If the answer is yes, then you've come to the right place, because we've got that deep bench of men who are going to coach, who are going to guide you, who are going to make you level up just simply because of who they are and the caliber of type of men that they are. They don't just talk about it, they are about it. So, we have and that's what I love, is that you've got in Psalm, it's not just one typecast.
Yeah.
You've got every make and model and creed out there in Psalm.
Life, love, and legacy. Why that title?
It just felt right.
It does.
It just felt, it's so easy for us to exist. It's harder to live. And then we talked about the 3 hardest words for any man to say, I love you. But the greatest gift we can give ourselves is to know thyself and then love thyself. And to me, when I think of love, I have to start with Cole in order for me to give it to anybody else. And I don't mean in the egotistical, narcissistic way. I'm talking about truly embracing why I was created or why I am created, my scars, my pain, all of it, just the beauty of life and loving that. And then from a legacy, many books, thousands of books have been written on, you got to leave a legacy, you got to leave a legacy, you got to leave a legacy. But I'm more about chasing immortality and helping others do the same. And what I mean by that is it's the impact, the wake that you live in the world. You don't have to have millions of followers on Instagram or YouTube. Yeah, that, of course, helps you expand your reach, etc. But for me, my legacy is for my children, for my grandchildren, for my great-grandchildren, for my great-great-grandchildren, etc. And it's based upon one simple ethos that I live by every day. Did I leave the world better than I found it? Mm-hmm. That's just how I live my life. Mm-hmm. And that's honestly how I've always lived my life. But through this journey, this messy thing called life, it's been fun. And that's why I titled it School of Man, A Man's Guide to Living, Loving, and Legacy.
And I love what you said about yourself at the beginning of the book. I was feeding myself BS and calling it caviar. Mm-hmm. You seem to be on a lifelong journey of learning, Cole. To date, which of the things you have learned sticks out in your mind most?
I've never been asked this question, so I love it.
Oh, good.
Yeah, great question. Smooth is fast. Slow is smooth, smooth is fast. Slow is smooth, smooth is fast. You can't microwave success.
Oh. Okay.
You can't. Trusting the process is honestly a gift in and of itself. We have been tricked into these little casinos we carry on our hands, our iPhones, right? That you hit a button, and I say it all the time in Psalm, life isn't Amazon Prime. You don't just hit a button and that result shows up at your doorstep a day or two later. Slow is smooth, smooth is fast once you're locked in on your target, and it's the right target. And once you trust the process, that makes that ride a hell of a lot better. The sunrise is a hell of a lot more beautiful, and the sunsets just absolutely blissful. That's what I've learned, is that today it would be easy for me to walk away from Psalm and say, you know what? Got what I needed. I'm out. I need it more than ever.
You never stop needing it, do
no,
you?
And Psalm doesn't produce an iPhone. We are the iPhones. We help upgrade men like they upgrade their iPhones or their golf grips or their hunting or their new shotgun or whatever. But what I've learned is, and just coaching all the men that I've coached from various walks of life, you have to trust the process. You have to trust the process. You've got to take the step on the path, and you have to understand, hey, smooth is fast. Like, you're going to get where you want to go as long as you have a vision of who you are chasing and you're ready to burn that boat and write that letter to that former self. And you truly buy into it and believe in it. And you don't continue to give in to those voices inside your head or the naysayers or the people outside of you out here making fun of you. I can't tell you how many people have made fun of me. Tons, and I'm appreciative of them, that have laughed at me, mocked me. And I don't have a vengeance towards them because I'm so steadfast in who I am. I know where I'm going. I'm in control of my life and the journey that I'm on. Very few people have that type of mindset. And I'm not saying, look at me, but back to that question, it goes back to slow is smooth, smooth is fast, meaning trust the process. Just trust it. Trust it. Don't microwave success. You don't want that.
And stay on track.
Stay on track. And you're going to get off. Your consistency is going to create your own personal credibility. Mm-hmm. That's what I see, as the greatest opportunity out there for people.
A question for the listener. Mm-hmm. You should call and find out about School of Man if.
if you're just wanting to become a better man.
Pretty simple.
I mean, it's simple yet profound. Like, it's the easiest question I ask people in a new guy. Do you want to become a better man? Well, yeah, it's a loaded question. Okay, we're going to meet you where you are. If you're in that phase of life to where you've launched businesses, you've created businesses, and you're tired of all the yes men, come to the 1% Man Project.
Why do you care so much?
Why not?
Because it's a lot of work.
Yeah, it is, but it's also an energy boost.
I guess so.
It's a fulfillment, and that kind of goes back to my story. I started learning I achieve everything I want through the path of fulfillment. And I mean, trust me, Ashley's asked me the same question too, multiple times. Like, why do you care so much about someone else's life? Just goes back to, once I locked in on why I'm truly here, I will never, ever waste that gift that was given to me.
Lovely. How do you go about applying or getting in touch?
Just first and foremost, find us on social. At the School of Man is the easiest way to start following us and getting involved. Go to schoolofman.live. Take our Battle Guide Challenge. 7-day challenge. It's a free battle guide. It's a badass journal for men. All right.
So now what is that?
So I created the battle guide early on because most men were struggling to create traction in their life and momentum. Sustainable momentum.
Is that free or do you buy that?
No, it's free. And then there's a hard copy you can buy if you want it, but it's free PDF along with a training series that comes with it.
And you just go through that worksheet.
It's 67 pages, and it's going to teach you how to not just journal, but again, use the rifle approach and not the shotgun approach. A lot of guys don't understand what targets they're actually shooting at first, and the most successful, the 1% in the world, know damn well what they're looking at every single day, but also block out all the BS that doesn't get them closer to that goal, but wants to stay in check and make sure their ego doesn't consume them, right? That's why I created the battle guide, because a lot of guys, for me, like, I need something very simple to create momentum in my life. I don't have to do these big grandiose things right out the gate, just like writing a book, or recording a podcast. It doesn't just set the bar to where you're going to trip over it and create momentum, and that's what the battle guide's for. That's the first place to get started.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
Yeah,
I want to do it.
Yeah, and you can. And that's the first place to get started.
And you go where to get that?
You can go to the website, schoolofman.live.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah,
that's
schoolofman.live. It's right there. Boom.
Download it.
Yeah, and so we're always offering ways to get involved. I think that's the best and easiest way to do it. Of course, listening to the podcast,
that's
picking
what
up the book.
I was going to say. Don't forget Alpha Talk.
Yeah, don't forget Alpha Talk. Pick up the book. And I will always answer an email, Cole@schoolofman.live. You can always email me. You can always email our support team. But I like mentoring and coaching. We have our full ambassador team of Psalm. So if you do have more interest in learning more, I'll connect you with one of our ambassadors that fits your story. We match guys based upon where they are in their life, right? Mm-hmm. So if I got a guy that is just dealing with self-sabotage and he's maybe had some addiction issues in the past, we're going to put him with a guy that has been there but has been able to conquer it.
If you like this video, subscribe to our YouTube channel by clicking on the picture of Kerry's face in the center of the screen. For more of Kerry's interviews, click either video on the right of the screen. And as always, thank you for watching.